These are some of the succulents that we bought from La Trinidad, Benguet in the Philippines. We bought 15 succulents for about 14 US dollars, so that's about $1 per succulent. Hi there, welcome and welcome back to our channel. My name is Mommy G. We recently bought some succulents from Benguet, a province in the Philippines. Benguet has 13 municipalities. Its capital is La Trinidad, where we purchased the succulent. Baguio used to be part of the province but became independent in 1909. Benguet falls under the subtropical highland climate. Its summers have an average high of 25.3 degrees Celsius and colder months is as low as 13.3 degrees Celsius. Thus, apart from being the salad bowl of the Philippines because of its high production of vegetables, a lot of succulents also grow in Benguet, which are sold to many parts of the country, including the National Capital Region. These plants can be purchased online and they are usually air dried for about a week and delivered in boxes like this one. Our package has arrived and today we'll be showing you what we have bought. It takes about less than 24 hours before this box reaches us from the seller to our doorstep. Each of the plant that arrived were carefully wrapped in tissue paper one by one. During the pandemic period, it takes a long time, about 3 or 5 days before these succulents arrive, and some of them are not in good condition. However, since we are already in the post-pandemic period, these plants came in really good conditions. Good condition means that the leaves are intact and are still hard, and also the root is dried and intact as well. During the pandemic period, there were cases wherein you'll order boxes of succulents and then the plants would arrive already, most of them are dying. There were times when we ordered and the entire plant has lost its leaves and most of them had already rotten or dried up. Now, since everything is back to normal, more or less, the shipping takes faster, and as such, the plants are in much better condition. Here in the Philippines, it is easy to buy plants. Usually, we buy it online via Facebook. There are groups there that you can join, and some of the sellers post their items or plants, and you can verify that the seller is legitimate by checking the photos or archives of people that have already bought from their shops. You can further talk to the seller and request for pictures or videos of the plants that you are buying to check that they are really legitimate sellers. Most of the succulents we bought are rosettes, and the seller was good enough to give us some freebie items. After unboxing all of these plants, we will be inspecting each to make sure that we remove the dried out roots as well as the dried up leaves so as to avoid organisms from growing through those plant parts. One of the most common issue with the succulents that we've had so far is the rotting of the roots. either because the plant is overwatered or the plant is not healthy. To avoid root rot, we'll be using a fast draining mix. In our case, what we will use initially as we transplant this plant are pumice. We will first allow the plants to recover and grow new roots before we transfer them in another fast draining mix which have other mix like carbonized rice hull or soil. These succulents can be propagated by leaves. So what we'll do is we'll use some of the leaves that have fallen off the plant and try to propagate that as well. Our area has a relatively higher temperature than Benguet. Its low is at 23 degrees Celsius and high at about 33 degrees Celsius. As such, the plants from Benguet would have to adjust to the higher temperature of our area. Generally, the way we care for our succulent is that we place it in an area with a lot of sunlight. Indirect sunlight is also good for the succulent rather than the shade. Watering is on a weekly basis and we just increase it to twice a week if the months are really hot or it's the summer period. Now we are done with our unboxing. These are the items that we ordered from the seller. This was the picture provided earlier. And these are some of the items that were given for free. Now it's time for us to repot this succulent. So what we'll do first is we'll clean the root and remove any of the dry part. We'll do that for all of our succulents. So we'll just clean this up. Then we will prepare our pumice. So for the initial transplanting of the plants, we will be using 100% pumice to ensure that our pumice is free of organisms that would possibly infect our plant. What we'll do is we will microwave this on medium-high for 2 minutes. Now we're done disinfecting our soil mix. And we are ready to plant. We'll cut some paper to put it at the bottom of the pot so as the pumice will stay in our pot. And then we'll put first a little bit of pumice and hold our plant as we add more pumice to cover its root. We are almost done. Finally, we will put some akadama toppings on the plant. This part is optional. We're doing this to be able to identify when the soil mix is already dry. Wet akadama looks like clay, while the dry akadama is very light brown, as you can see. We'll repeat the procedure for the rest of our succulents and then we'll put them in hanging pots and hang them in our greenhouse. Now we are done. We will water this succulent on a weekly basis until it forms new roots. That's it. Thank you for watching and we hope you learned something. We also invite you to subscribe to our channel if you haven't. Stay safe and healthy and we'll see you in our next video. Bye!